Okay, good morning, everybody. Happy Labor Day. My thought for you is playing with the idea, right? We have two representations of how to move through life well, we have many representations, but the two I'm focused on today are two representations of Vishnu. One is Ram, who comes as the energy of your purpose in life or the work that you have to do in life, right? The great importance of you being born, that's Ram. And that's kind of what is the biggest thing that your soul was pulled into existence for, or was pulled into embodiment for, is Ram. And that always comes from a place of love, but it's also a place of really deep service. And the other one is Krishna. So they're the same energy, but they show up in two different forms. And the energy of Krishna says that there's the opportunity to go even beyond that idea that our life is something that is meant to be just service. And he says that within that service, he says, if you don't understand that there's a place of fun, there's a place of play, there's a place of realizing that there's a joy in service, there's a joy in everything that your life brings to you, then you're going to miss the entire purpose of that service. So you're going to miss it because you're going to cut yourself out of it. And this is what you see is in Ram's story is there's tremendous things that he does in the world. He saves the world, right? They're both the same energy of Vishnu that is the energy that saves, the energy that sustains. So he saves the world in both cases. But in one, Ram's case, there's a lot of suffering that's involved. There's a lot of the human experience of the ups and downs and the, I don't know if I can handle this. And in Krishna's case, there's the other end of that, which says, I have no question that I can handle anything because I know very deeply where my source of joy comes from. I know very deeply where my source of bliss comes from. And so I'm not disturbed by what's happening on the outside, even though Krishna's story is also full of suffering, right? From almost the moment he's born, people are trying to kill him, right? And his big story where we hear about him in the Bhagavad Gita is he's in the middle, the center of this incredible civil war, right? So there's this experience of there's a lot of work to do in your life. And so how are you going to go through it? And part of us needs to be rooted in that deep love of the service, the Ram energy that says, I'm willing to give everything of myself to my life. And we also have to have that Krishna energy that says, I know that there is a joyful experience that is not attached to whether I think I succeed in the work or the service of my life. Does that make sense? So comfortable seats, we're playing with that, right? The idea of effort and ease, right? Sukha and sthira. So the steadiness, the strength that we have in practice, and also the sweetness, the easefulness. So eyes closed if you're not there already. And start to bring yourself deeply in. And bringing yourself deeply in means that the breath gets a little bit deeper. And you start to let the outside world just be outside. So it's not a tuning out, it's not a cutting away, but you start to feel that there is a subtle difference between what is happening outside and what is happening inside. And then as your breath is getting a little bit deeper, bring your attention to the space of your heart. You can feel as the breath moves up the spine and down the spine, it has to hit that point every time. Imagining that the space of the heart expands with every breath. Maybe that's like a ripple, so that every breath, the energy of your heart moves a little wider outside of you. It starts from inside, it moves wider. And then the next breath, it goes a little wider from that, like ripples that are expanding. And the next breath, it goes a little wider from that, so that the energy of your heart is reaching out into the world, bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. You have no idea how big it's going to get, but you're not going to stop it. Every breath, you're radiating from the heart, and those ripples are expanding, expanding, expanding. Deep breaths, just feeling that you have a heart center that doesn't have to go anywhere, but it can radiate into infinity, can radiate, expansively. I say that this is some of what the greatest yogis, this is all they do, is they sit in a cave somewhere in meditation and they radiate. Find that place in your heart that radiates. And then maintain that feeling that every breath that you take through your practice, doesn't matter what pose you're in, is you're continuing to radiate from that heart center. Good. With the eyes still closed, hands on the knees of the thighs, start to cat-cow your spine. Still radiating. Moving the heart center forward, moving the heart center back, moving your awareness into the front of the heart on the inhale and into the back of the heart on the exhale. Let your head move with you. So the inhale is lengthening the front of the throat. The exhale is dropping the chin, lengthening the back of the throat. Good. The heart center is highlighted in both the stories of Ram, his, wouldn't call him a sidekick, but his counterpart Hanuman. Because Ram lives in the heart always. Ram and Sita, his wife. And Krishna, Vishnu as Krishna, so his favorite game is hide and seek. So he likes to entice you into play in your life, and then he disappears. Makes people crazy because they say, where did that love go to? He said, the one place that they'll never look, their own hearts. So get used to this area. Get used to feeling internally what your heart space feels like. Come back to stillness, please. Notice if the breath is different after moving. And then bring the hands together at the heart center, please. Rub the palms. Fast, 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 fast. Yeah, you have to give your whole self to your life, so rub fast. Ignite your hands. Good, and then steady those palms at the heart. Feel the heat radiate again through the hands, through the arms, right into the center of the chest. So you're bringing that heat into your own heart. And then we'll open with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. Let the eyes float open. Nice, you guys. You can release your hands, please. Come forward to hands and knees. Realize, put that light on, didn't turn it on. Come to hands and knees, and then start to do some hip circles, please. Move your pelvis. Good. Nice, you guys. We're walking that line between the Ram energy that says that I'm willing to give up everything, sacrifice everything for the good, for the work that I need to do. And the Krishna energy that says you never have to give anything up. It says the work of your life is actually going to bring you to the fullness of your soul. That's how it works. Go the other way, move your hips the other way. So they are one and the same. The energy that sustains you is from that heart center. Is that if you love what you're doing, if there's a love for your life, even in the most challenging moments, and there's a love for those that you're sharing it with, even in the most challenging moments, then you don't lose anything through service. You only gain. Good. Come back to stillness, please. Spread the fingers nice and wide. Tuck the toes. Come into downward facing dog. Lift the hips. Good. Start to pedal your feet just a little bit so you can move the hips from side to side, alternating, bending one knee, pressing through the opposite heel. Good. And then come to stillness, please. Bend both knees deeply. Drop your butt towards your heels. So push back like you're in a child's pose, but but your knees are up off the floor. So pull your hips back, but the arms are still extended forward. Good. One more breath. You're really trying to tuck the tail just a little bit so you get that arch out of your lower back, and then drop your hips, get into your thigh creases. Good. Nice job. And then take the hips nice and high again, up on your tippy toes. Try and maintain that feeling that there's no arch in your lower spine. And then release the heels softly towards the floor. Good. Right leg comes up and back, down dog split. Deep breath in. Nice. And then step that foot forward between the hands. Good. Drop the back knee. Use a blanket there if you'd like. Inhale the arms up, Anjaneyasana. Good. Yeah, deep breath in. And bring the hands back behind your head. So you're squeezing that front heel towards the back knee. Squeeze. Good. Bring your elbows slightly forward. Drop your head back into your hands. Nice. Again, radiating from the back of your heart to the front, from your shoulder blades. Lift up. Good. And then extend the arms back up to straight. Beautiful. Bring yourself all the way back up. Release the hands down to the floor. Lift your back knee. Good. And then keep your back heel lifted. Start to straighten your front thigh. Use blocks underneath the hands if you need. So don't change the feet. Just straighten the front leg. Good. Pull that back heel higher up off the floor so you're squeezing your legs towards each other. And then big toe mound of the front foot presses down, down, down. Good. You got it. One more deep breath. Beautiful. And then bend the front knee again. Keep the back knee off the floor. Both hands come inside the front foot. Good. Walk yourself straight forward so your shoulder stays inside the knee. Walk your hands forward so you're on fingertips. So really long arms, extended arms. And your back thigh lifts up, up, up. And you're squeezing your right butt cheek back and in. Good. Up on fingertips. Lift your back of your heart a little higher. Lift the back of your throat a little higher. That's it. And then don't drop it again. Once you lift it, don't drop it. Good, Heidi. Good, Crystal. Good, Mia. Nice, Pam. Good. One more breath. Extend. Pull back on your fingertips. Pull that heart forward. Good. And then walk the hands back in, please. Nice job. Step your left foot forward just a little bit. Take both legs to straight Parsvottanasana. Good. Use blocks underneath the hands. Good. Don't look for this to be the deepest forward fold you've ever had. It's still very early in your practice. It's still very early in the day. But don't shy away from a place where you can start to press into your feet. You can move your inner thighs wider. You can scoop your belly, push your butt up to the sky. And then relax your heart. Good. Relax your head. Instead of reaching with the upper body, just engage the legs. Let the upper body hang. Good. It's a different way of forward folding, but it's a way that gets you a little bit more space in your lower back, which is where it needs to happen if you want it to feel spacious in your upper back. Good. One more breath, squeeze those feet. Nice. And then step your left foot forward alongside the right, standing forward fold. Good. Feet underneath the hips. Bend your knees. Please keep your fingertips on the floor or blocks. So bend your knees back towards chair. So move your hips back in space. I want your knees right on top of your ankles. So if that's not your habit in chair, try and find that. The weight's going to move back towards your heels a little bit more. And then hug your inner thighs or hug your inner shins. Good. Scoop your low belly, round your low back, still in chair. Good. And then maintain that. Take the arms up alongside your ears. Good. Is anybody else getting garbled sound from me? Yes, yes, no, 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 no. All right. All right, Calliope is. Okay, one more breath, everybody. Good. Press into the feet. Come all the way up to stand, please. Nice. Right hand holds your left wrist, please. And then pull to your right. Yeah. Good. And as you're pulling to the right, right, pull that right hip and thigh back in space. It's going to twist forward, so pull it back. Good. And then I want you to actually look towards that upper right-hand corner of your mat and round, like you're going to dive onto that upper right-hand corner. So bring your hands, your chest slightly forward, round into your back ribs. So you're now going at a diagonal instead of straight to the side. Good. So you're pulling back through the back of the heart. And then maintain that, but open that left armpit more towards the sky. Waha. Beautiful. And then bring it all the way back up to center, please. Switch the hands. Reach to the other direction. Good. So the tendency is that that right hip is going to spin forward, draw it back. Yep. Press into both feet equally, maybe even actually pressing through the right foot a little bit more firmly. And then take yourself onto that diagonal towards the upper left-hand corner of your mat. So you're bringing your attention into the back of the heart, softening the front ribs, getting wide through the backs of your shoulder blades. And then stay there, but then open that right armpit more. So side body open, open, open. Good. Nice, you guys. And then bring it all the way back up to center, please. Release the hands, bend your knees, drop back to chair. Good. Still with the weight moving towards your heels. So again, I want your butt moving back, and then take your hands to the back of your head, both hands, elbows wide. Elbows cup in slightly, and then press the back of your head into your hands. Pull your low rib cage in, pull your belly in, and push your butt back. Good. It's going to feel really like there's a lot of frustration trying to do all of those things at the same time. I'm excited for your frustration. Good. Nice, you guys. Twist to the right. I know, hands behind the head. Don't let your knees fall in. Don't let your knees swivel. Come back to center. Twist your torso the other way. To your left. Good. Keep the steadiness in the legs, the lightness in your breath. Come back to center. Good. Stretch the arms straight. Push your butt back. And then hands to the floor, straighten the legs and fold. Nice job, you guys. Feet underneath the hips. Right hand comes to outer left ankle or shin. Left arm comes to the sky or to your lower back. So if reaching that arm straight up doesn't work, hand to your lower back. And then fall back towards that upper right-hand corner of your mat. So draw your heart back, draw your throat back. Nice, Laura, you got it. Good, Lauren. Beautiful. And then release and come back to center. Go the other way. Left hand reaches for outer right ankle or shin. Right hand comes to your lower back or towards the sky. Good. And it's like you're leaning with the back of your heart towards the upper left-hand corner of your mat. Bring your head back with you. Good. Keep equal weight on both feet. Nice, Andrea. Good job, Yuki. And then release that hand back down to the floor. Nicely done, you guys. Step yourself back to plank pose, upward push-up. Good. Armpits forward over your wrist, please. Take your feet together, turn onto the baby toe side of your right foot, Vasisthasana. Good. Left hand comes to your left hip or to your left ribs, please. Good. Push your ribs up into that hand or push that hip up into your hand. Good. And pull through that right arm up into your shoulder blade. So that arm that's on the floor, pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up. Then extend the left arm up to the sky. Good. You can always take that bottom knee to the floor here if you need, you guys. And then bring that left arm over the ear, reaching towards the top of your mat. Yeah, extend, pull, pull, pull. Nice. And then scoop the belly, please. Come all the way back, downward facing dog. Hips nice and high. Good. And then slide forward, plank pose. Vasisthasana, second side, feet together. Roll onto the baby toe edge of your left foot. Left arm holds you. And again, bottom knee can come to the floor if you need. Right hand comes to your right rib cage or your hip. So bring it to where you're touching something. Even if you have a foot on the floor, bring it to your hip or your ribs. Push up. I want you to have that feeling of drawing into your center and pushing up. And then pull that right armpit back a little more. That arm that's on top, pull it back a little more. Rotate that shoulder. And then right arm can come to the sky. Nice. And then stretch it over your ear. Extend. Pull those ribs in from the front of the heart to the back of the heart. I know it's a lot of effort. Stay light. What is this bringing to you, not just what you are giving up? And then release, coming back to downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Good. Exhale, knees to the floor, child's pose. Hips back to your heels. Breathe into the back of your heart. If the shoulders are a little cranky, bend the elbows, make a little pillow with your hands. Rest your head on your hands. Good. Nice, nice, nice. Krishna in his teaching says that the yogis have almost the wrong ideas. They have this idea that I'm going to work really hard to understand my mind. I'm going to work really hard to change how I think and how I act. I'm going to get rid of karma. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I'm going to succeed in attaining samadhi. I'm going to get to that place of oneness, that place of bliss. And Krishna says, that's great. It's a beautiful place to be. And there's somewhere that's even better. It doesn't require you to give up so much in your effort. Because you can have that bliss even while you're alive. So you can have that bliss while you're in your body. Because that bliss is you. It's never been anywhere else but in you. But it hides. It hides behind the mind that wants to do and judge and think and accomplish. He says you can do that, and it's beautiful. And you don't have to do it to experience that bliss. Walk yourself back up, hands and knees. Downward facing dog. And that's a challenge for us because we've definitely been trained in our experience to think that you get reward after you've worked hard enough, right? You get to relax after you've worked hard enough. Well, how about experiencing a sense of fullness and love even as you are doing the work that's necessary, but not pushing yourself to work harder because you think the bliss is going to be greater. The bliss is the bliss. Left leg up and back, down dog split. But Krishna says, the bliss is the bliss. It's there, whether you work hard or not. It makes no difference. Step that foot forward between the hands. The working hard makes it so that you can experience that bliss easily in your life. You don't have a lot of things getting in the way of it. Drop that back knee. Inhale the arms up, Anjaneyasana. It's been so long, you probably forgot how we started the sequence. Squeeze that front heel and the back knee towards each other. Good. Interlace your fingers, press heels of the hands up to the sky. I know, not the same as what I said before. Yeah, so press your palms up and then pull up through your side ribs and squeeze your legs. Like it's from the base of your pelvis that is pulling you longer. And then take that into any amount of a back bend that you'd like. Draw the armpits back. Draw your waistline back. Good. Let your hips continue to move forward. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I like that variation, Linda. And then bring it all the way back up. Nice, Meredith. Release the hands down to the floor. Good. Lift that back knee. And then keep the heel lifted. Start to straighten the front thigh. Use blocks under the hands if you need. Good. As you're straightening the legs, pull that outer right hip, that's your back hip, spin it forward. And then press into the big toe mound of your front foot a lot. Maybe notice if your front knee has a tendency to roll inward here towards the big toe. Try to roll it outward just a little bit from the top of your thigh. It's going to pull your big toe up off the floor. And then keep that widening of your thigh, but push into your big toe mound. And if that didn't make any sense, take another deep breath and just ignore me. Squeeze the legs. Good. And then bend that front knee again, please. Good. Back knee stays lifted this time, both hands inside the front foot. Walk yourself straight ahead onto your fingertips. You can still have blocks underneath your hands. I just want them to come forward a little bit more so that you really have to use your legs and pull your hips back. Pull the top of that right thigh up and back. Good. Squeeze your left butt cheek back and in. Nice. And you're on fingertips so that you're not pushing your weight into your hands here. Your legs really have to do it. Good. And then drag back on the fingertips energetically. So you drag back to lift your chest up a little higher. So throat goes out. That's it. That was very fun to see. It's all of your heads lift. One more breath. Good. Walk the hands back in, please. Nice job. Step the right foot forward just a little bit. Take both legs to straight. Parsvottanasana, blocks underneath the hands. Good. Nice, you guys. That sense that you can continuously radiate this feeling of love for the life that you have. Even if it's challenging, even if it is rife with suffering, which if we're in the world, guess what? Our lives are intertwined with suffering, our own or others. That's the way of being in the world. And Ram teaches us that, is that you can't escape it, even him who is God in human form, incredible suffering. And he says it's the same as you. You have that spark of the divine, and you're going to experience what it's like to be in the world. But you don't lose that sense of your love for what you're doing, your love for that you have for your life, because the love is what keeps you getting up every day. And the love is what keeps you coming back to those people who have hurt you, not in a negative way of being, dysfunctional, but in a way of saying, I'm not going to deny your humanity. Because that's what keeps us free. Squeeze those legs towards each other. Relax the upper spine if you forgot that's what you were doing. Good. And then bend that front knee, step the right foot forward alongside the left, standing forward fold. Feet underneath the hips, fingertips on the floor or blocks, bend your knees, drop your hips back towards chair, and really focus on moving your butt back so your knees are right on top of your ankles. And if the legs need a little extra attention, right, you have this hugging of your shins towards each other, like you've got a block between your legs. Good. You can feel your feet pushing down and then scoop your low belly. Yeah. And now take the arms up to a full chair. After you've set your pelvis, and when you come into that full chair, don't let your belly fall forward, pull it back and in, lift your hip points. It should feel like you are really making your lower back do something it doesn't usually do. Good. Hands behind your head, twist to your right. Yeah, don't let your knees swivel. Don't let that left elbow just fall in. Move from your ribs. Good. Come back to center. Really good, Alice. Twist the other way, please. Nice, 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 Susan. Andra, don't let those knees swivel. Don't let those hips swivel. That's it. Come back to center. Arms reach straight out, butt back. Get lower in your chair. Maybe even drop the chest parallel to the floor. Push back. Yes, Allison. Go, 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 go. Good. Fingertips to the floor. Straighten the legs and bow. Both Allison. I feel like I have to. Good. Nice, you guys. Step the right leg back behind you, please. Yeah, drop that back knee. Use a blanket there if you'd like. Inhale the arms up. Anjaneyasana. Beautiful. And then bring the hands together at your heart center, palm to palm. Remember that feeling of heat radiating from your hands all the way up to the heart. Can you find that again, even though you were not just rubbing your hands together? Can you feel the actual connection of your hands to your arms to your heart? Good. Lift your heart a little higher up into those hands. Yeah. Lift the heart a little higher up into those hands. Start to lean back like you're doing a back bend. But keep lifting your heart up into your hands. Keep lifting your heart up into your hands. So you're constantly pulling your ribs up, up, up as you lean back. Good. And then navel to spine, come all the way back to upright, please. Prayer twist. Right elbow comes to the outside of that left knee. And if the elbow doesn't hook comfortably, you can absolutely use the hand instead. You can even just rest the forearm on the thigh. Good. Nice, you guys. Press that knee wide into your hand, or into your elbow, sorry. Open the heart wide and radiate. Don't radiate your frustration. Radiate the love you have for the work that you're doing. Come back to center, arms up. Deep breath in. So the way you come out of the pose is just as important as how you get in. Don't collapse. Release the hands down to the floor. Nice. Lift the back knee, please. Drop your back heel, baby toe parallels back of your mat. Cartwheel the arms up to warrior two. Good. No, we're using that front leg a lot. Good. For one breath, please come lift the heel of that front foot. So come up on the toes of your front foot. Let your thigh go a little deeper. Squeeze the legs towards each other, but go deeper into that lunge. Awesome. And then release the heel to the floor, please. Straighten the front thigh. Good. Triangle pose. Extend the left rib cage forward, 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 and then drop that hand down to the front leg floor or block. Right arm to the sky. Nice, you guys. Laura, you're doing fantastic. Good. You're all doing fantastic, but Laura's doing extra fantastic. I know I have two Lauras, but my Laura, who was a little nervous, is doing extra fantastic. Good, you guys. One more breath. Turn that right rib cage open a little more. Yeah. Good. And then bend that front knee, please. Good. Release the hands down to the floor. Both hands inside the front foot. Walk to your right until you come to the center of your mat. Turn your feet, wide legs. Good. You got it. Catch and turn your feet forward just a little bit more. Widen your heels. Good. Nice, you guys. Try to bring your hips slightly forward so that they are in line with your ankles. Good. So let yourself go forward towards the tips of your toes. Your weight moves forward. And then find your heels pressing down. Good. And your butt lifting up. And your shins squeezing together. Hold opposite elbows and hang. So no hands on the floor. Good. If you prefer to hold your legs or your feet, that's fine. For some of you, your head is touching the floor no matter what I say. Good. And I want you to hang, use your legs. Good. Those outer thighs have to be awake, so push the inner thighs wide. One more breath, hang. Good. And then hands come back to the floor, please. Nice. Walk back towards the top of your mat. Turn those left toes forward. Good. And then step back downward facing dog. Very good. Vinyasa if you choose, child's pose if you prefer, or coming down for cat and cow. So if you're doing the vinyasa, you're sliding forward to plank, lowering down slow with a lifted back of your throat. Don't drop your head. Rise up to cobra, head, neck, and chest. And come back downward facing dog. Good. Nice, you guys. Right foot steps forward between the hands, please. Drop that back knee. Use a blanket there if you need. Anjaneyasana. Take the arms up. Again, squeezing the legs towards each other. Good. And then bring the hands together at heart center. Yeah. And then again, that feeling of connection. Can you feel the hands moving through to the center space of your heart? And there's no automatic, it should feel like this. There's just, can you feel yourself connecting hand to hand? Because you have to know what that connection feels like. I can't tell you what it's supposed to be. Lift your heart higher up into your thumbs. Good. And then start to keep lifting. Come into any amount of a back bend, but by lifting your heart up, so there should never be that feeling that your lower back is taking all of the weight, because it's your abdominals that pull from the front to the back and pull up, pull up, pull up. Nice. And then bring it all the way back up to center, please, and find your prayer twist, left elbow to the outside of that right knee. And Diane, move that knee a little wider. So again, you're using the energy of your leg to push wide. It's going to keep that outer hip really awake. So this is preparation for pigeon, right? Because what are we stretching on that outer, on that front leg is that outer edge, that IT band and piriformis going out the outer thigh up into the butt. So you can do that same work here, right? You don't have to wait for pigeon. Heart opens a little wider. Good. And then bring yourself back to center, please. Arms to the sky. Don't give up on your pose. Coming out doesn't mean, I'm done forever. I don't have to think about it. You are never done practicing. You are never done living. Pay attention. Release the hands down to the floor. Good. Lift that back knee, please. Drop the back heel. Baby toe parallels back of your mat. Cartwheel the arms up, warrior two. So shoulders come over the hips. Arms are wide. And again, I want you to find the place where you can lift the heel of that front foot, still squeezing the feet towards each other, but you lift that heel, you engage that leg more, and then you can drop the pelvis into the lunge a little deeper. So drop your pelvis down. Let those thighs widen. Good, Jeff. Really good. Nice, Allison. Good, Susan. All my Susans. Good, Ken. And then release that heel to the floor, please. Nice job. Straighten the front thigh. Good. Triangle pose. Extend that right rib cage forward. Reach the right hand down to the front leg floor or block left arm to the sky. Good. Jen, just bring your left hand slightly forward and really work the shoulder back a little bit more. Yeah. Bring it forward towards your chest a little bit more so you're not pulling back so hard, and then move your left rib cage open more. So you're really twisting from your belly. There you go. Good. Nice, you guys. Keep your legs squeezing towards each other here. Keep that left rib cage pushing up towards the sky. And then lengthen, push through the crown of your head. Imagine that that right hand, wherever it's resting, is going to be able one day to comfortably rest beyond the toes of your front foot. That's how long your spine is going to get. As you're moving that right armpit forward. Yeah. Nice, you guys. Bend that front knee, please. Release the hands down to the floor, both hands inside the front foot. Walk to your left until you come to the center of your mat. Turn the feet, straighten the legs, forward fold. Good. Squeeze your feet towards each other, butt to the sky. Again, hold opposite elbows or hold your feet or your legs and hang. Nice. The bliss is the bliss. Whether you think you have succeeded in the work of your life or you have not, whether things have gone the way you wanted them to, are going the way you want them to, or not. Bliss is not about things being the way we want it to be. Bliss is about feeling whole and complete with what is. Krishna says you can have that at any moment, and it means that you can give up those questions of, am I enough? Release the hands to the floor, please. Walk your hands forward if you can. Come into a nice wide-legged down dog. So still in that super wide legs. Just walk your hands straight ahead. Good. And then draw the tops of the thighs back, draw the hips back. Nice, Ken. Good, Dana. Good. And then walk your hands back in, please. Nice. Walk back towards the top of your mat. Turn your right toes forward. Step back, downward facing dog. And then in your down dog, you're going to take your right ankle over your left thigh. So right ankle over left thigh. And then bend your left knee and bring it forward and push your butt back. Good. So now it's like you're doing a cross-legged bear in down dog. You got it. Push your butt back. Nice, you guys. Hello, hips. Again, you're dropping your butt towards your heel. You're dropping your pelvis. You get that feeling of not arching the lower back, but doing the opposite. Good. And then slowly release, straighten that left leg, swing that right leg up and back behind you, down dog split. Beautiful. Bend the knee, kick your heel and stack the right hip on top of the left, open for a moment. Draw that knee back in space, stretch through the front of your thigh. Yeah. Good. And then take that knee facing the floor, please. And then take that right leg forward and wide for pigeon. Nice. The knee goes wide, heel comes towards the opposite hip point. Press into that front shin. Foot is active, either pushing strong into the floor with the toes pointed or curling the toes back into a flexed foot. Good. And then find your way walking forward. Left hip is spinning forward, right thigh, low belly pulling wide. Good. Come on down. Nice. If you're doing pigeon on your back, that's perfect. Like Linda's doing like a seated pigeon, that works. Nice. So can you tune into the activity of your mind, whatever your mind is doing right now? And get excited about the fact that you can watch what your mind is doing, which means that you yourself are not actually confined to your mind. That's what we hear. That's what we're taught. That's the teaching. You are not your mind. You can watch your mind. And then can you notice that even though the mind is running in whatever circles it's running, can you feel what the heart is doing? In the Yoga Sutras, it actually says that if you meditate on the heart, you will understand your mind. Can you bring your attention to what your heart is radiating in this moment, not what your mind is focused on? Changes the experience, right? And that's the entire practice of yoga, is that if you can go beyond what your mind is stuck in, you don't have to fix it, but you can go beyond it. You go to a different place of attention, you experience something else, and then that informs your mind. Gives your mind something to move towards instead of just trying to make it make sense. This is what Krishna said. He says, don't fight with your mind. So just go to where the bliss is, because you already have it. Your mind will follow if your attention goes to where the bliss is. But don't get too in love with your effort. Get in love with the ability you have to love. Whatever effort you do from there will be perfect. The teaching of yoga. You only get to choose where you're coming from, not how the effort shows up in the world. One more breath, please. You're going to walk yourself up onto your forearms, please. Optional here if you'd like. Bend the back knee, kick your heel in towards your butt. Reach back, twisting quad stretch. So the right hand would be reaching for your left ankle. And if that sounds like a terrible idea, you can just stay where you are or just come up onto your fingertips. You can even reach back for a regular quad stretch if that is preferable. Good, but try and scoop your belly, you guys, and push that right hip back down to the floor if you're in the quad stretch. Good, and then release the leg, please. Come back to hands, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, come back to downward facing dog. You almost said hands and knees, that's not what I meant. Downward dog. Pedal your feet, move your hips from side to side. Good. And then come back to stillness, please. And your left ankle comes over your right thigh, please. In down dog. Bend that right knee, pull the knee forward, thigh forward, butt back. Again, like you intend to drop your hips to your heel. Pull back. You got to draw up through the front edge of your pelvis so that you take that arch out of your lower spine. Nice. And that's a lot of work, so stay light. Good. Start to straighten the right leg, please. Unwind the left ankle, take the left leg up and back behind you, down dog split. Good. Bend the knee, kick your heel in, stack the left hip on top of the right. Move that knee further back so that you're really stretching through the whole front of your thigh. Good. Just don't let your shoulders rotate too far, Jeff. Keep your shoulders pointing down. Nice. And then spin that left knee facing forward. Left knee comes forward and wide for pigeon. Second side. Knee is wide. And pigeon on your back. Again, active foot, active front shin, push into the floor. And then start to walk yourself forward. Good. The heart is an interesting place to look at in a pose like this because most of the effort feels like, of course, it's happening with the legs. But if you catch yourself, you realize that if the legs are being challenged, the tension of that challenge goes straight into your upper back, your shoulders tense. So see if there's a place where you can keep softening the upper back. Don't do the work. Don't do extra work in your upper back because you think it's going to make it easier on your legs. It won't. Breathing deeper makes it easier on everything. Engaging the legs more makes it easier on everything. That's where that Ram energy says you have to be willing to give everything to your life. You don't get to hold anything back and say, well, that's just for me. You're in the world. Everything that you are is in the world. Share it. If you don't, that's going to create opportunities for you not being everything that you are. Not being everything that you are. And at the same time, giving your whole self to your life doesn't mean that you give yourself up. It means that you get the chance to feel the fullness of your own bliss. So don't hold back. Don't hold back your own love. Don't hold back your own ability to surrender to that love. Both Krishna and Ram say that's the secret. You want to sustain yourself, you have to surrender to what is bigger than your mind. So what is your heart radiating in this moment? Because the heart isn't the place that gets frustrated. The heart isn't the place that gets unhappy. You might feel unhappiness there, but it's the mind that generates that. What is your heart radiating? One more breath. Relax. Maybe widen your elbows. Drop in. Yes, good, Catherine. Good, Jackie. Yay, Dana. Walk yourself back up. Really good. That's all it takes is one breath. You let go for one breath and everything's done. Good. Optional here on your forearms. Bend that back knee. Kick your heel in towards your butt. Left hand reaches back for the foot of the ankle. And if being on the forearms doesn't work, you need to be up on the hand for that quad stretch. Come up on your hand. No problem. Good. Draw your throat back. Turn your belly. It's not a twist if you don't turn your belly. Good. Jackie, you're great where you are. Good. Susan T, just make sure that you're not sitting on that right thigh too much. You want to keep your hips facing straight ahead. There you go. Even more. Yep. Even more. You got to get back up on your pelvis. Good. Release that leg. Nice job, you guys. Plant the hands. Good. Lift back to downward facing dog. So back of your lips. Down dog. Pedal your feet. Wiggle your butt. Yeah. Beautiful. And then slide forward to plank pose. Nice. One more Vasisthasana. So take the feet together, please. Roll onto the baby toe edge of your right foot. And again, bottom knee can come to the floor here if you want, or top foot can come forward. Left arm to the sky. Remember that feeling of pushing up through your hips, pushing up through your ribs. And then pull that right armpit forward, forward, forward. Extend. Good. And then maybe float your left foot up off of your right. Separate the legs. Awesome. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nice. And then release that foot, please. Come back to downward facing dog. Scoop the belly. You stay super light. You get higher. Awesome, Lauren. Really good. Yeah, she just did the Hanuman variation there where you go from Vasisthasana to Hanuman. Get excited. It's like you all did it. Feet together, please. Second side. Roll forward to plank. Good. Roll onto the baby toe of your left foot. Right arm to the sky. So that's no pressure, right? You don't have to do anything crazier than what I've already said. But it's just a reminder that your bliss is your bliss. So don't hold back from it. Push up through those ribs. Pull your left armpit forward. Once you've pushed up through the ribs, pull long. And then maybe float that right foot up off of the left. Still pulling that left shoulder up into the center of your heart. Good. Nice. And then go ahead and release back to downward facing dog. Stay light. You got it. Hips up, Lauren. Hips up. Beautiful. Slide forward to plank pose, everybody. You know, my rule is whatever one person does in class, we all did. So good job with that Hanuman variation, everybody. Lower down slow to your belly. The benefit, you come to class with me and you get the benefit of everybody else who's practicing. Good. Come into Sphinx pose, please. So elbows to the floor, forearms to the floor. Right underneath your shoulders, press into your arms. Lift your chest. Point the toes back behind you. Good. I want you to imagine this back bend happening not from the front of your heart, but from the back of your heart. So try to pull your front ribs away from the floor and feel the broadness of your middle back. So not squeezing the shoulder blades together, but getting broad in that space at the bra line and just below. So your middle and lower ribs get super broad, almost like you're trying to round your back. Good. And then you're dragging back on your elbows to lift your collarbones up, but don't lose that broadness. Don't push forward to make that happen. The back stays really awake, collarbones lift. So you're really rotating those shoulder blades around your arms. Nice. And then for some of you here, if you'd like, you can separate the feet a little bit wider and maybe even press into the hands and come to straight arms. If you're coming to straight arms, to separate your feet a little wider. Give the low back maximum space. Same feeling though, you're still trying to pull from the front of your ribs into the back of your heart. And then the front of your heart lifts up, not forward, but up. Nice. And then back to your forearms, please. Move the elbows back in if they move too far forward. Tuck your toes, please. Look towards your belly button. Again, pull those ribs up. Lift your inner thighs to the sky, forearm plank. Nice. Good. Even here, you're dragging back on those arms. Pull back and pull your collarbones forward. Lift the back of your throat. That's it. And knees to the floor. Lower all the way to your belly. Good. Pause and rest. Make a pillow with your hands or arms alongside you. Turn the cheek. Turn the head. They say Ram, when he is born, he doesn't realize at first that he is God in human form. He goes through the same thing that we all do and say, just a guy, I'm just a girl. I'm just trying to get through my life here. But his life keeps throwing really big challenges at him. And even though he suffers through it, there are points where he's, emotionally breaking down and doesn't know how he's going to continue, and he's losing himself. But he never wavers from the knowledge that there's no other way to go but forward. We have to have that kind of heart that says, I'm willing to engage with the suffering of being in the world. I'm not going to run from it. I'm not going to let it keep me from doing the best that I can do, to be the best that I can be. Turn your cheek to the other side, please. And Krishna, when he's born knowing exactly who he is, that he is God in human form. And so he never has any questions. He simply looks at the world and says, what are you all confused about? What are you doing? Let me show you how to be happier. Let me show you how to be what you were always meant to be. So he plays tricks. He plays tricks on everybody to get them to get around their mind. Because going through your mind is hard work. If you've ever tried it, you know that. Getting through your mind is hard work. And maybe you will get to the place you want to get to eventually. Maybe you won't. Krishna says you can go around because your heart already knows. Forehead to the floor. Bend your knees, kick your heels in towards your butt. Reach right hand back for right ankle, left hand for left ankle. If reaching the feet is not an option today, hands alongside your ribs like you would for cobra. Good. Knees straight back behind you, so hug those knees towards each other. Good. And then you're kicking your feet back into your hands, but feel the front of your thighs pull forward into your pelvis. Good. And then you're drawing your low rib cage in and up again. Good. And then lift head, neck, and chest as you lift the thighs, upward bow. So kick your feet into your hands, lift your thighs, lift your heart forward. Again, the back of your heart is what's moving you into the back bend. Ribs stay drawing in, belly engaged. Back of your heart moves towards your heels lift up to the back of your heart. Good. If you feel pretty good there, rock forward and back on your belly. Nice. Good. One more deep breath. Maybe bend your elbows and feel yourself get even more into the strength of your chest. And then slowly release. Really good, you guys. Good. Take a moment, wiggle the hips, and then find your way onto your backs. Good. Nice, you guys. Take your legs up to the sky, please. I know you were hoping it was just going to be rest, but it's not who I am. Legs to the sky. You can rest with your legs to the sky. Good. Take your arms out wide. I want you to feel your whole back. I want you to feel what the back of your heart is doing with your legs up. Nice. So you're actually drawing the front rib cage down still. Feel the press of your back rib cage to the floor. Feel the press of your lower spine finding the floor. So the legs are up, but it's still like you are drawing the tops of the thighs into the hip socket. And then you can press up through your heels, but you have that push and that pull. Good. And then without changing anything about what your upper back is doing, let your legs fall wide into a straddle. And imagine in your mind that you're doing this with a wall behind you, because then you'll feel like it's relaxing. Right? Pretend that you were just in legs up the wall and now your legs are wide on the wall. Go around your mind that says, I don't like this. Maybe you do like this. I love this position. Find your back rib cage. Good. Whatever effort there is, stay soft with it. Engage, but stay soft. Last breath. Good. Bend your knees, dropping the knees alongside your armpits. Happy baby. Lift your heels. Go ahead, take your hands to your ankles or your feet. But your heels should be stacked on top of your knees, so as though you were going to walk on the ceiling. The knees are wide. And squeeze those inner knees inward just a little bit, like you're hugging your outer ribs or your elbows if your elbows are there. Good. And then find that place of your low belly and push the bottom tip of your sacrum down to the floor, so the lowest part of your lower back. Awesome. And then bring the bottoms of your feet together. Drop your heels towards your groins. So you're not dropping the feet to the floor, but your knees are wide in Baddha Konasana. So you're keeping that rotation of your knees rolling up towards your armpits. You just brought your feet together and you're dropping your heels towards your groin. Good. So Anju, don't let your feet come to the floor. Keep them up. That's it. And same thing, you guys, hug those knees inward just a little bit. So again, you're pulling in. Get those thighs to descend into the hip socket. And then find that lowest part of your belly, lowest part of your low back pushes to the floor. And now release the squeeze of the knees. Awesome. And then hug the knees in towards your chest, squeeze. Good. Right knee stays in, left leg extends out in front of you. Come into spinal twist, so the right knee comes across the body. Good. Right arm extends wide, or it can come up over the ear if that's your preference. And then optional here is to bend your left knee, the leg that is extended, take your heel up towards your butt, reach right hand back to the foot or the ankle. Right shoulder still relaxes towards the floor. Second option is that right knee that is in the twist. You can extend that leg out straight, get a little bit more stretch in that outer thigh, outer hip. So again, that concept that if you are trying to do something with a particular pose, right? Pigeon was the request, is that you can be working that pigeon energy in a lot of other poses. You're not limited to just the one that you know is going to hit it. And that's the joy, is if you give yourself fully into your life, as you find that there is not only one way for you to experience bliss, for you to experience fullness, happiness, whatever you're looking for, is that it can show up from every direction because it's generated from inside you. Krishna says, don't forget, it's hiding in the one place you'll never look, your own heart. Good. Slowly unwind, please. Bend that leg if it's straight, the right one, bring it back in. Release the left leg, come back to center. Hug the knees in, maybe circle the knees a little bit. Massage the lower back. Good. And then come back to stillness. And then left knee stays in towards the chest, right leg extends out on the floor. Come into spinal twist, knee comes across the body. Left arm goes wide or up alongside the ear. Good. And then again, you can stay here. This is plenty. If you want to go for the quad stretch, that right leg that is extended, bend the knee, reach back with the left hand for the foot of the ankle. And if you'd like to, straighten your left leg in the twist. Good. Again, getting through that outer hip up into the thigh, down into the thigh, through the lower back. Think about those folds in your body, that the thigh creases, no matter what position you're in, are getting deeper. So maybe draw back, push back into your sacrum a little bit more. Draw your front rib cage in so that your focus is on finding fullness in your back body, not trying to twist deeper through the front. Good. You are Ram. Learning to give the full devotion to your life, and you are Krishna, knowing that that's not what determines how big your bliss is. Your bliss is your bliss. Don't hold back. Don't hold back on how much you love the world, and don't hold back on how much you let that bliss radiate from you. Slowly release, unwinding the legs, come all the way back to center. Hug the knees in towards the chest. Again, do a little massage for the lower back, moving the knees, circles. Good. And then plant the feet to the floor, please. Hip width apart, arms alongside you. One single bridge pose, your final pose. So set your arms however you'd like, either straight alongside you or into robot arms. Find the lift of your chest from the back of your heart to the front. Find the lift of your chest. Press into your feet and then bring the hips up with you. Good. Your armpits continuously lift, the back of your throat and that top ridge of your shoulders anchors to the floor. Drag your heels back towards your butt, pull your butt towards your heels. Nice. The energy that sustains the bridge between what is beginning and what is ending. So the sustaining energy is what never ends. Holds both beginning and ends within it. One more breath. Release the hips slowly down to the floor. Consciously straighten the legs out in front of you. Place yourself into Shavasana. Don't just collapse into it. Stretch the legs out. Arms alongside you. Head. Begin to find yourself dropping into your breath. Literally the energy that sustains you. And again, feeling the breath rising and falling through the space of your heart. And radiating. Even if you don't have a name for what's being radiated. Even if you don't know if it's going to be accepted or if the world wants it or if you want to be giving it, can you just let the heart radiate? Bring the awareness back to your breath. And your body begins to stretch, move, whatever ways serve it well. And as you're ready, draw the knees in towards your chest. Roll to your right side. And take a moment before you begin to push forward. Oh gosh. And back to an upright seated position, distracted by everyone's thoughts. Bring the hands to the heart center, palm to palm, or whatever mudra has been serving you. And especially if your palms are together, then feel that connection again of your hands running through the arms to the heart, because your hands are an extension of that heart center. Your whole self is an extension of that heart center. The heart is the place where it says, Jiva Atman, your own spark of the divine, is that's where it lives. And it lives there eternally, and it is constantly as bright as it was from the very beginning. It doesn't dim, it doesn't waver. It simply is. The heart chakra, the name for it is Anahata, which means that it is unstruck. Nothing began it. It simply is. And so it is radiating already, but when your mind is spinning in another direction, you aren't aware of how you are radiating, and that radiation gets a little bit less. So bring your attention to that heart place, and your whole life begins to become a representation of that. So the work of your life becomes great because your heart is in it. The whole experience of your life becomes bliss because it's coming from an understanding that you are bliss. So we have the ability in this moment to shift out of the mind that wants to make sense of what doesn't make sense, and to shift into the heart that says there has never been any question. This is Rama and Krishna. We have to be willing to do the work of being in the world. And we can't forget that the bliss is the bliss. It's already there. And you have the ability to turn to it. You're the only one who has the ability to turn to it. It's hiding in the one place that you aren't looking. It's not your mind. It's the heart. So if you practice nothing else, practice radiating the love that you have for the life that you are living, in its moments that are incredibly easy and the ones that are incredibly hard. If the love doesn't waver, then the entire experience becomes bliss. And the definition we have for bliss becomes the life that you are living. You become free. The mind becomes free. So don't focus on what do I have to do. Go to the heart that says this is why it matters what I'm doing. Mind will follow. So this is the path. You can work really hard or hardly work. The bliss is the bliss. And close the sound of Om. Deep breath in. Sliding the thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste, everybody. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. Enjoy every day, but especially today if you are off from your normal routine. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy.